Well, Friday's here. How we all doing out there? Are we
Woo!
ready to start our long weekend?
It's going to be a great weekend.
It's going to be a good weekend in real estate. Yeah, I feel like Memorial Day, yeah, it might be a holiday and people are going to do their thing and they're going to have their cookouts, but I still feel like we should have some activity going on. I hope you guys have some showings lined up with some buyers that are ready to go. Anybody have anything in particular to jam on this morning?
Well, I got a wonderful phone call very unexpectedly yesterday from a gal that I sold a home to back, I don't know, like in 2017. And she said, Linda, my son has been living with me all this time after his dad died. I think he didn't want to leave me alone in this big house, but it's time for him to, get his own nest. So he's going to be buying a home. And she said, and then once he's in his home, I don't need this big house anymore. So I need you to sell this home. And then I'm going to need to find another home. So I'm excited. I'll be going up to Illinois shortly to do those three transactions.
That's awesome. I didn't know you were traveling back and forth up there. I
Oh,
thought you
heck
were,
yeah.
yeah. All right. All right. How often are you headed back up?
Whenever somebody says they need any assistance with real estate in Illinois.
So you'll just head up for a week and kind of try and work through it and get them
Oh,
a deal. And
100%. I think it was 2 months ago, I went up there and did over 1.5 million of business. And it's so fluid. Everything's moving so quickly there. Whereas down here, it's sort of like watching paint dry and falling into the depths of despair. So it's delightful to
yeah,
go up there and make some things happen.
yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know you were doing that. I thought it was more of a referral business for you. Have you been doing that since the transition? This is an interesting topic. Did you do
Yes,
this the whole
indeed.
time, or yeah, you've
Yes.
always been? If you've got a good client, you'll go back up and do some work. And
Correct. I mean, from the Sarasota airport, which is just like 10 minutes from our home, it is 2 hours and 12 minutes to get to Illinois. And so why wouldn't I? And yeah, and especially if things are it's going to be like 94 degrees with steam happening here in Florida. So it's really a delightful time to go up to Illinois. I've had to go up when it's cold, which is not my jam. So now it's time to go up when it's going to be nice.
nice,
Yeah,
nice.
and then of course Jeffrey's here, so he's boots on the ground here. It's really wonderful.
Yeah, I got a random email the other day. I couldn't, you got to love when the client doesn't even say like how they got your contact information. Just, hey, we're interested in buying a house. But I had recognized the last name, and it turns out it's a client that's, geez, probably 12 to 15 years ago. This is her stepdaughter and her husband, and they're going to be buying. And she recommended us, and yeah, those are the things that it just doesn't happen in your first couple of years in the business, where
No, it
this
doesn't. But
business just falls out of the sky. You know.
may I share something I think that is really amazing with everybody? I love this so much. As a closing gift, I was giving Cutco all-purpose knives, which Cutco has like a lifetime guarantee on their blades. These knives, it's an all-purpose knife. It comes in this beautiful box. It's like an amazing presentation. And here's what's beautiful about it. My logo was laser engraved on the blade. Okay, so it's got my name, my brokerage, my phone number, right? And so this is something that people use every single day. And according to Cutco, for the rest of their lives, they're going to know me because I'm on the blade. And Chris said, Linda, I was going bananas because she thought, she said, I don't know where to find Linda's phone number and I don't remember who she worked for. And then she goes, oh, the knife. So she got my phone number off of the Cutco knife. And what's glorious about Cutco is, yes, it's a $160 knife, but because it's branded it's considered marketing. And so you can deduct for your taxes as a realtor, you can deduct the entire price of the gift because it's marketing.
This story is hilarious because right now, Sharon have you seen Sharon's video about the Cutco knives?
No.
Oh my God. I'll do a little bit of searching on Instagram for it. Just try and do Sharon Cutco. If you can't find it, ping me and I will send it to you. But he does this whole bit about how he blasted people that give out the Cutco knives. He's like, nobody, wants knives with your logo on it. And so the Cutco guy, like basically, he did this on stage or something at some event, and then the Cutco guy ends up giving him they reunite at another event, and he gives Sharon a set of Cutco knives that says worst. They're engraved with worst gift ever on the actual knife, and it's become kind of this whole kind of funny thing back and forth. And so now it's funny to hear you say that these clients have using the knives, and and now you've got referral business coming from it. So,
Oh my God. No, no, no. And here's what I'd like to say. Yes, it's laser engraved, but it's very, very subtle. It's not like it's blazing at somebody. You got to kind of really look at the knife to see it, which I love, And so I would have to strongly disagree with him because everybody has raved about these knives and they love, love, love them and they use them every day. I can't tell you the compliments that I have gotten from the knife. That's so interesting.
yeah, yeah. It's funny because I feel like most of the stuff that has other people's logos on it, if it's just a quality item, if somebody gave you a nice coffee mug and it's just a nice mug and it's got their logo on it, I think people tend to use that stuff. I think his kind of thing was instead of it, how agents are always me and our pictures and this stuff, like engrave it with their initials on there or something like that. That's what people would actually want and actually remember. I think that's where he was going with it. Instead of putting your stuff all over it, people do like it when they get their stuff, their backpack, their mug engraved with their stuff. That would be a better gift. So yeah, who knows? But then they don't have your info. So yeah. Chris Cook is just saying those cutting boards with the little logos. Make sure you get them wood ones, Chris. These microplastics are just everywhere now. Golly, I
Yeah.
can't go. I can't listen to a podcast now without them talking about the microplastics. So God forbid you're cutting stuff on a cutting board or eating stuff with plastic knives and spoons. I have converted to. I've got my actual silverware here in the office now because
Mhm.
they have put the fear of God in me that I am going to die because of the
Die.
microplastics in my brain.
I,
Um, did you have some comments on microplastics, Linda?
oh, my poor brain can't tolerate. It's been so banged around, it can't take anything more. So yeah, yeah, no, no, no plastic.
Yeah. Yeah, the latest podcast I was listening to said that they are finding the equivalent of a plastic spoon's worth of plastic. So, like a plastic spoon, like take up all the little bits of plastic in the brain out of these cadavers, and it would be a full plastic spoon. Some people, as
Oh,
much as a credit card worth of plastic inside them. So, we don't think, that these little shavings are adding up, but that they are, and it's pretty bad.
yeah.
So I don't know.
All right, well, let's talk about something happy now.
Yeah. Well, we can talk lending. Dan, I see you on. What do you got, buddy? It's Finance Friday.
Yeah,
You have
good
some.
morning, guys.
You got something to make
Um,
us smile? Rates are down in the fives.
oh God, I wish, but no,
Woo.
you know what? I wanted to talk something on that topic, to be honest. Obviously, rates are high, and it's difficult. It makes it difficult for everybody to qualify for what they want to, especially when you're dealing with first time buyers. It sometimes it makes people maybe unwilling to pull the trigger because they just think the rates are too high. So I'm sure a lot of you guys are hearing that. And even if it's a prospect that you're trying to turn into a client, or clients that you are already working with, what I've what I've been having a lot of over the last couple weeks really is people reaching out to me for like second opinions and just saying, hey, this is what our other lender had pre-approved us for, and this is the rate and program that they're quoting me on, and we're just not sure that it's the best we can do. Can you do better? And and 9 times out of 10 we can't. So, especially when you've got someone, you're trying to shop at the top of their budget, maybe us being able to get them a quarter or a half a percent lower on the rate makes a difference to them being able to get that house that's a little bit out of reach. So, just I think now with this market and the way that everything is, it's just so competitive. And and again, it's difficult out there. So people are shopping around, whether they come to us first or second. We're always trying to put the best offer out there. But I've been having a lot of people reach out lately, just saying, hey, this is what we're getting. Can you help us out? Can you do any better? Can you maybe get us a little more on this pre-approval? And we're making that happen for people.
Yeah, look, I think a second opinion is always the way to go. Especially if you've got a frustrated client. So, anybody have any particular questions for Dan or finance related? Something weird going on in a deal? Something weird financial situation with one of your clients? Anybody have anything to?
I have a question.
Sure.
Um, oh, okay. So we have a gal who's going to be moving here from Texas, and she just went under contract to sell her $2.2 million. She's got a ranch. But all of her money is in the ranch, and she needs to pull some out. And what do you think is the best route for her to go? She said that because she went through a divorce, her credit is not great right now, and she probably needs about $60,000 is what she would like to take out. Do you have any thoughts about what would be the best route? We were thinking maybe a hard money lender, for a short-term loan, but I don't know.
So that you said that house is in Texas and it's worth like 2 million. Do you know what she has for a mortgage on it now?
No, it's paid in full. It's
No mortgage on it.
all cash in there, right?
Okay, and she just needs like 60 grand.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, if the credit isn't great, I mean, really the best option for her would just be to go to a bank and just get like get an equity loan. For that smallish amount, like most mortgage lenders are, that's going to be like kind of below a minimum loan size.
Sure.
Um, but like usually like, a home equity line of credit, the credit requirements are usually pretty flexible too, especially if she's got that much equity and she's really looking for a very, very small amount of money. Um, it really
Linda,
does
I
depend
know, I
exactly.
know. On the home equity line, did you say she's already got it listed?
It's under contract.
Yeah, so
Oh, shoot, I
typically
missed
they
that
won't.
part. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they won't do those equity lines once it's listed on the MLS. So she doesn't have any other kind of savings or any 401ks or anything that she could borrow against, life insurance policy she could borrow against or anything like that.
Oh, you know what? I honestly didn't ask her. I didn't even think to ask her if she could pull money from one of, what her other income sources are, but I can certainly check with her.
Yeah, I think a lot of
Um,
people don't realize that you can borrow against those, especially since she's not. It doesn't seem like she's looking for much here.
right.
If she's got any kind of 401k or life insurance policies, hopefully we could pull out against that. So I'm guessing she just doesn't have, right. She doesn't have a lot of cash, and maybe her credit isn't great. Is that?
Right. So I
Yeah.
guess, running this ranch, it costs a lot of money, the upkeep on it. And I guess and she's been trying to sell this ranch for quite some time. And it's, very overwhelming. It's way too much. property for her as a single woman. And I don't get the impression that when she was married, she took care of the finances, and things have kind of drained down for her. So she's cash poor right now. Um, and and again, I didn't ask her what other sources of income she might have, like with respect to the 401k or, the life insurance.
Anybody else have, dealt with something similar like this? And hey, this is what my client ended up doing.
Yeah, and just to kind of add back to that, you're definitely correct as far as it being, once it's listed on MLS, we wouldn't be able to lend on it. Now, if she were to take it off, for instance, she'd be like mortgage wise, and in her case, it probably isn't really applicable at all. But just to throw this out there so that you guys know, if you do have a client that has a house listed and then they want to take it off the market to do a cash out refinance, there's normally a waiting period after you pull it off the market, depending on the loan program that you'd want to do. I'm gonna have to double check exactly on that, but like I know you could take it off and do a rate and term refinance immediately. If you take it off the market and you want to do cash out, I got to double check. You might have to wait up to 6 months.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Okay.
Couple other things that are just coming to mind for me, Linda. A lot of these credit cards, depending on what she has, they'll allow you to do like a cash advance. You're probably not going to be able to get 60, but she may be able to get like 10, 15, 20 out of one of them, 10, 15, 20 out of another.
Ah,
So
right.
look
Okay.
at cash advance on credit card. What was the other thing? If she happened, like, I don't know if there's maybe a big vehicle on that property, like maybe they have a big, tractor or bulldozer or something. I think you can do the same thing with a vehicle, like an equity line against the vehicle if they own those outright. Or maybe she has a high end car that somehow she paid cash for or something that she could do it against.
Okay.
So those are a couple other, and then just like I know this is a while ago, but I'm assuming these things still work. Is just my bank was willing to give me like unsecured, not against my home, but just here's $15,000. Just like here's a personal line that you can just draw on. So
Okay.
she might want to just check with her local bank. Um, Sometimes they just let you borrow, 10, 15 grand. You don't have to say what you're doing with it, nothing.
Okay. Okay. All
So, I
right.
mean, between all of those options, if I can get 10 here, 15 there, 20 there, maybe she can scrap together the 60. I guess the question would be, why can't we, on whatever we're buying in Florida, just wait until this closes, right? And then we'll have the money.
Well, we can. So here's the problem. She needs money for her escrow deposit in purchasing here. And she doesn't have it. And when this home closes, she's not gonna have a place to live. So she might have to lease back from
Yeah.
the buyer
But,
for a while.
but she's buying in Florida, right?
Correct.
Yeah, where we've got a slow market, so buyers got the
Mhm.
leverage, right?
Oh,
So hey,
definitely.
here's the deal. I got this $2 million property on the market. All her equity is tied up in this property. We're going to have a small deposit. We're going to give you $1,000, right? It's not going to be your typical deposit, but like this, she just doesn't have it. But hey, we're going to give you a good offer on this property, right?
Okay,
Like,
I like
yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah. Let's
okay.
just be honest with that. That listing agent. We might find a property. They're just happy to get an offer. Shaston.
I would definitely second what Steve said. I just closed one and they did not need to do the earnest money deposit because my client just didn't want to go through the trouble of doing two wire transfers. And we showed them proof. They saw that, the funds were available to do the purchase. Everything was fine. And honestly, after 200 days on market, they didn't have any leverage. So they didn't want to lose it. But I agree. I mean, I feel like it's slow enough here. She shouldn't have an issue with that. If you can at least provide proof that she'll have the funds to close and get to the end game.
Okay, I love that idea. Thank you.
Anybody else have any thoughts? Any other strategies that your clients have used to just get some cash? I think we covered most of them. We were on closing gifts for a little while. Anybody else just want to throw their hat in the ring for, hey, this is what I do, and it seems to go over well. We talked about the wooden cutting boards. We talked about the Cutco knives. Anybody else have just like, hey, this is my go-to, and I really love it. You guys do closing gifts, right? Come on, unmute those mics. Martin.
So I ordered these, like they have my name on it, and then I can in marker put like the year they bought the house, everything else. And I put in the bottles. It's called Nalevka. It's basically it's a liquor. And 99% of people love it, and it's kind of like just a little thank you for them.
Cool. Nope. Not having a good hair day today, buddy? No video?
Hold
Yeah,
on.
another
I thought I turned it on. There, I'm trying to turn.
Let's see
Is
that
it
mug.
on? No, I don't know. I'm having technical difficulties.
There it is.
There we are.
it
Okay.
is.
No, I'm just being lazy on the couch this morning. That's all.
I like lazy on the couch, Martin. Who else has got
another good
something?
one.
Yeah, go
One of
ahead,
my
Dan.
one of the agents I work with, we were working with these buyers for quite a while. They relocated from Tennessee to Rhode Island. They sold a house out there. I think we were in touch with these people for like a little over a year, looking to get this deal all together. And then we get it closed and everything. And one of the big things that they kept talking about was the guy loved playing poker. So what the agent did is he went and he designed like a logo with their new address on it and everything, and got like custom made poker chips made for them. And that was one of the cooler gifts I've seen, I think.
Yeah, on that front, I think like, look, if you've got your go-to, if it's the cutting boards, it's the Cutcos, that's great. But I think if you can hit something like this, where you pick up on something during the transaction and you can get them a custom gift like this, way better, way better. Go ahead, Stacy.
Sorry, I'm driving. Um, so I don't a lot of the time know where they're moving to or their new address. So I found online on goody.com, and you can actually it's an entire website where sellers can go in and pick their own gift, or you can pick a gift and a price range, and then it sends it to their email, which is really cool. And then they open it up, and then like I find 50% of the people will exchange it for a different gift, but I think that's cool, and well, it saves me a lot of time. I know it's not very as thoughtful as the other gifts, but I don't really know their addresses a lot of the time of where they're moving. So I just email gifts
Yeah, that's good. That's good. What was that one called?
on goody.com. Goody
G-
gifts,
Goddy or IE?
Goody.
Goody. Cool. I haven't heard of that one. Linda.
Very cool.
Okay, so certainly, if you hear of something that your client really loves or something, it's super fun then to get a very personalized gift. And I had a blast because I had this 80-year-old woman who told me that every home needs a splash of leopard. And so I found this gorgeous chenille leopard print chair. And I bought her this chair for her home, and it was by far I had so much fun delivering this thing to her, and she was over the moon happy. And it's just this gorgeous, unique chair, and she loves it, and that was really fun.
Yeah, that's totally fun. I think, stuff like that, super memorable, gonna stand out. You can obviously go like just super practical, like they're moving into a new house. It's gonna be busy and kind of like, chaotic, if you will. So maybe like some sort of meal delivery for a little while. You could do like the Hello Fresh. You could get them a subscription to that, or Blue Apron, or whatever. Sometimes those things are kind of good, or some sort of a home cleaning. Get their home cleaned. 30 days out or something like that, to just take a little bit of the stress off. Margareta.
Morning all. I got rid of my plastic boards, number one. Thank you. But I actually done really well with Bluetooth speakers. They're not, and you don't have to get super expensive, but people who love like being outside or, they're like the inside outside kind of Bluetooth speaker. They love it. And, obviously they're going to use it because they don't have something like that. My
Yeah.
other thing is for women, particularly, it's like this, it's like a tree like a dryer rack. You can get them in Walmart. It's like it folds into like a stick technically, but you can open it up, and it's great like when you need like extra closet or like if you have people coming in, you need like a coat hanger, and it's only like $25, and people love them, and it's like they remember you because it's so useful.
Yeah, the practical stuff I think definitely goes a long way. That's why I think like the cutting board and the knives and the stuff that they're going to use on the regular. So great share, Shaston.
So my go-to is usually like I'll do custom gift baskets and stuff. So just throughout the transaction, whenever you're having like casual conversation and stuff, like I'll try to get information that way. So like if they've got kids in the house and the kids like certain things, or if they've got a dog that's now their child since they've retired, like those kind of things, I'll add like candles and mugs and stuff like that. But then I'll go and find something specific to them, like if they're coffee drinkers or wine drinkers or whatever it is. So that's usually my go-to. But one that I found recently, which is I found is pretty nice for like the smaller deals too, because you don't want to go out and spend $200 on a basket. But there's this company called Bordery, and I know that like the charcuterie boards are really, really big right now. But they have these charcuterie boards. They're wooden, and they deliver these whole custom kits to your client. And you can actually have like their initials put on and all kinds of stuff. So they really customize them from the foods and stuff that you put on them. And so you ask them if they have like nut allergies or anything like that. But it ships direct to their home, like on ice. So they get it within a couple of days. And my clients have absolutely loved those things, especially when they're moving in. They've got snacks and stuff when they're sitting there, dealing with stuff around the house. So that one I thought was a pretty cool one.
And then they got the board left over at the end.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
kind of like a little gift, and
Yeah.
I really do those like just for the really small deals. But those are like I said, they have like I think three or five different sizes for the boards, so you can go like the really small ones or the really extravagant ones. But they're like I think they're a little bit dressier than what you would do for like your own home charcuterie board. Like they'll have like rosemary sprigs and
Yeah.
specialty olives, those kind of things.
Cool. Great share. Bordery.com. Cool. Angela, wrap us up.
Well, I'm totally going to steal Shaston's idea with the charcuterie board because that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I
Well, what I
love
love
that.
about both the basket and the charcuterie is it kind of combines both of what we're talking about. You get the practicality, but then if you're paying attention during the transaction, you can kind of put like something for the kid, something for the husband, something for the, maybe not so much on the bordery one, but on the gift basket, you can kind of go, oh, the daughter, I'll give her something, I'll give the son something, I'll give the mom something, right? So we get practical. You end up with, a board or something like that, but then kind of custom to what happened during the transaction. So that's pretty cool.
No, totally. I like the branded idea Linda had. Usually I'm going to piggyback off what Shaston said is I'll put together a basket and kind of just throughout the transaction and just being with the clients, I kind of pick up on what their likes and dislikes are, and I'll put together a great basket for them. I have done more often since I am so buyer heavy. I'll offer a deep cleaning service before they move in, and clients are always super grateful about that. I always have a go-to cleaning company that'll come in and literally like clean the window sills, the sliding glass door tracks, wipe out the drawers, and that always goes over pretty well. And then I'll usually do some sort of meal delivery for their first move-in night, but definitely branding's important, but those are usually my go-tos.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Awesome. Well, Monday's a holiday, so I hope you guys are barbecuing and having some fun this weekend. We will be off on Monday. We'll be back at it again on Tuesday. But it was great to have so many of you turn those mics on. Maybe next week we can do an advance to cameras. It'd be great to see everybody's smiling faces. But appreciate you guys. Love doing this call. Let's go crush this weekend, and we'll see you back on Tuesday. Take care.
Thanks so much. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Have a good one.